Now we're going to solve the dopamine problem using the clock method. The clock method is a shortcut. By using the concentration on hand and the drip set, we can solve the problem for just micrograms per minute. So we can just multiply micrograms times kilograms, and that will give us an estimate of the drops per minute. And this will not give us the exact number of drops, but it will give us an estimate. It's a good way to check your work after doing the full calculation. So the first thing we need to do is find the concentration in micrograms per milliliter. And for our calculation purposes, that's really all we care about. Now, if you're using the pre-mixed bags, this will be on it, so you don't even have to do this step. It'll say, usually it's either 1600 micrograms per milliliter or 3200 micrograms per milliliter. If you have to mix it, just know it in advance what your concentration will be. So you go through your bag, you have 400 milligrams of dopamine, you're going to mix it in a 250 bag. Know that your concentration is going to be 1600. So we know that that's what it's going to be, but we'll just calculate it out for some practice. So we want to know how many micrograms are in 1 milliliter. So we're given 400 milligrams. Over 250 mLs. And our conversion is going to be 1,000 micrograms and 1 milligram. Micrograms are on top, micrograms are on top. Okay, so cancel. So now to solve this, we're just going to count zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 4 times 1 is 4. So we have 400,000 divided by 250. Cross off here, cross off here. 25 divided by 40,000 is 1,600 micrograms per milliliter. And again, if you're using the pre-mixed bag, this will be on the bag. If you have to mix it yourself, do the calculation yourself before you're with the patient. So we'll just get rid of this. And now we'll set up our clock next. Now the clock is, since we are always going to be using a 60 drop set when we're using dopamine, or at least we should be, the clock is going to be, the 60 is going to be at the top. So you draw a circle. So 1,600 micrograms is in 1 milliliter. Since we're using a 60 drop set, 60 drops is 1,600 micrograms, which is 1 milliliter. So then 15 drops would be 400 micrograms. 30 drops would be 800 micrograms. 45 drops would be 1,200 micrograms. So now this is all set up for us, and with practice you can just get used to doing this quickly. If you know what your dopamine concentration is beforehand, you can just set this up even at the start of your shift as a way to check your work. So now we need to know how many micrograms are we going to administer over 1 minute. And 154 pounds, so our order is 8, our ordered dose, our desired dose is 8 micrograms per kilogram. Times, here with 154 pounds is 69 kilograms from the last question. So we just multiply 69 times 8, 9 times 8 is 72. 6 times 8 is 48, plus 7 is 5. So that gives us 552 micrograms per minute. So we look at our clock. We got 400 here, 800 here. So 552 would be somewhere around here, which would be about 20 drops per minute. And you remember from when we did the problem in the last on the last presentation that it was 21 drops per minute. So this is a good way, again, to check your work, both on a test and when you're with a patient after you do your dopamine calculation.